I will let you know. This is going to be
Awesome.
fun.
What's up, Stu Smith?
Hello, Jim Edwards.
How are you?
I'm good. And
I'm
you?
glad you're good. I am well. I am cozy in my wife's basement, getting ready to put together the new mobile workstation and video platform over at the world headquarters, so that I can move over there so I can really get overly caffeinated inside the Unicorn Cafe.
Well, that sounds fun.
What's new with you?
Well, this is exciting. I have an announcement.
Oh, snap. You're getting married?
Nope. I just used the Genie for the first time.
Wow. Which
And
one?
the blog post Genie.
Yeah.
And it helped me write an 800-word article in 15 minutes.
Wow. Is it any good?
Yes. You know what it did?
What did it do?
It taught me how to swim the combat swimmer stroke.
Did it really? And it actually was accurate?
It was pretty darn close. It had some angles where I hadn't really thought about coaching it
Uh
that
huh.
way, but I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
Uh huh.
Right. So it was really good. In fact, I sent you a text of the text that of the text paper that it sent me.
Oh, excuse me. If I
And
check oh, look, here's a text from Stu. Stu Smith is texting me. Oh my God. Hey, that's pretty good.
yeah.
Nice. Nice work. Yeah, that's good stuff.
So I was very excited to use the Genie for the first time today.
That's awesome.
And I sold that article to military.com.
Where's my cut? Where's the genie's cut? Look, man.
I'm already profitable using the Genies.
I pay by the stroke.
No,
Wait a
it
minute.
was
That's
it
not.
was
Don't take that out of context.
yeah. No, it was ridiculous. I was really surprised. When I first went through it,
Mm-hmm.
I had put it. Someone had asked me a question about changing sides on the combat swimmer stroke,
Yeah.
like because you have a strong and weak side,
Right.
right? And so I go to the Genie and I type in a few things. I use my avatar, change just a couple of things instead of like crushing SEAL training. It was something like
Right.
mastering swimming tests.
Oh,
Okay,
excuse me.
so that's what I changed it to,
Okay.
and it spit out some really good information on multiple strokes. So freestyle, breaststroke, backstroke,
Okay.
you know, butterfly, all these Olympic strokes that are out there. And I said, I wonder what it will tell me if I put in the combat swimmer stroke.
Okay.
And it broke it down. It broke it down very nicely. I was
Nice.
yeah, no, it was really cool. And it
Well,
just gave
I,
it just
I'm
helped
glad. I'm glad
it
that the
helped
overall
flow.
level of surprise in your voice is not real high, because the way it's almost at, oh man, I was shocked as hell that actually worked.
Well, put it this way. I I am so used to writing my own articles.
Uh-huh.
I can usually do an 800-word article 30 minutes,
Okay.
right? But I timed this one and my effort to put in a few things into the thing and then it spit me out something. Then I cut and paste what I wanted into my article and I rolled with it. And it literally took me 15 minutes from opening that Genie script to finishing my article and sending it out.
So, I'm going to share with you a little, and that's awesome, and I appreciate you sharing that.
No.
But you just made me think of a quote from the second Harry Potter book, where it says, "Never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain." That kind of sums up the way you were looking at it. But somebody just said, "What's up, Carl? What's up, Angie?" Somebody just said, "I use the listicle and checklist genies to create new course material." Amazing. That's awesome. That's exciting. Well, we got big things coming. We got what's up, Vicky? That you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You ain't seen nothing yet. This is a world changer, what we are doing here. Because, see, what we got going for us, other people don't. Other people have this funny little robot that they're like, okay, robot, do this for me. But the robot is stupid, slow, and only as good as what you put in. But what we got with the wizards and the genies and the rest of the technology blended together, I'm telling you, Stu, we're gonna change the world. I don't care how many other people out there doing what they're doing their thing. It's basically asking a stupid robot to do something for you, as opposed to what we're doing, which creates actual real results that people need and can use. So all I'm going to say is just keep your hat on and pay really close attention to what we're doing. So, hey, by the way, little plug. You and I got something new going on today at the top of the hour. What do we got going on? What are we doing?
Well, you tell me, Jim. This is your baby. So, and I'm along for the ride. Now, I have come up with some ideas, but I want to know how to place my ideas into your new development.
Okay, well, we got an outline, so hopefully you know how to do it.
Yes.
So today we are launching a brand new show at 11 o'clock called Turn Content into Traffic. This is all the different ways that you can use content to generate targeted eyeballs, targeted visitors to your funnels, to your opt-in pages, to your YouTube channels, to anything you got going on where you need the right people showing up and paying attention in the right way. We're going to show you all the different ways to use content to do that. And our first show is today at 11 o'clock. It is exclusively for those people who are members of the Content Marketing Scripts elite level. We have 2 levels inside of Content Marketing Scripts. We have the elite level and we have the regular premium level. So there you go. And just give you a little teaser. It's not too late. If you're like, hey, I really want to join the elite level, I would get on the, I don't know how, Susan. Okay, yeah, it's just a blatant teaser. Earlier. Okay, well, if you're not a member, you can't be today. This is like, okay, we're having a party and you can't come. So we will figure out here in the next 24 to 48 hours how to let people join. I mean, what do you want to do? Okay.
I mean, I'd like to.
Okay, let's do it.
We have to.
Okay, well, in the next 24 to 48 hours, there will be a link somewhere that if you are in Content Marketing Scripts Premium, or you're like wanting to join Content Marketing Scripts, and you're like, well, I want to go to Jim and Stu's new show, and I want to join the elite level, then we'll have a link for you at some point soon. That's like the crappiest close ever. That is like the worst close in the history of calls to action, but it's still better than not closing.
You know what I look at it, Jim?
What's that?
Is I think a lot of people get stuck at trying to have everything perfect before they launch.
Yep.
But I have found, and I think you have found as well, is that sometimes you just launch.
Right.
And you make it perfect while you're launching.
Yes.
And, because there will be changes. You'll have to make a change to this in a month from now. You'll get feedback from somebody that says, hey, what do you mean by this? I didn't quite understand it. Oh, let me better explain that. You make changes. That's the only way you're going to get things done.
Absolutely.
It's just by doing them.
Is just to get out there and start doing it. That's great. That's kind of like if you waited until you had the perfect gym clothes, the perfect shoes, the perfect gym, and everything else, you'd probably never get in shape. But if you drop to the floor right now, no matter what you're wearing, and do a few push-ups, that's the start of your journey of fitness. So it's the same thing like what we did yesterday with the Copy and Content show. It wasn't perfect, but we launched it yesterday. And it went really well. Dexter did an awesome job. Susan did a great job. We got everything going. Nancy made some cool graphics. And people showed up, they dug it, and then we had a meeting afterwards, and we're like, okay, we need to do this and this and this and this as well. So the next time we do it, it's going to be even cooler. And same thing with what we're doing today. So I'm excited. And you're right. Sometimes change is hard, but then sometimes change is fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. And you really don't realize a lot of the things you need until you're already on the journey.
Right.
Right. That doesn't mean you have to stop doing the journey.
Right.
Right. Just need to make some changes. Grab some extra equipment, make it work.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So I got a couple comments in here. I'm not sure who said this, but somebody said the AI system is absolutely unique. Love it and use it almost daily. Because it's not, and that's awesome. It's not just an AI system though. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into this. Carl said, love the show yesterday. Mike says, boom.
It's beyond AI.
Yeah, it's way beyond that. Way beyond that. So, okay, cool. So do we want to go ahead? That's kind of the show. Today we're kind of on a 30-minute time diet because we're ready for our show at the top of the hour, but we want to, make sure we're not, coming in sweaty. And so we're just going to, finish this up in about 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about on the pre-show or the Jim and Stu show? Anything else?
Yeah, I would say, does anybody have any questions about anything, especially, content related or sales copy related for that matter? Taking questions, live Q&A. Put you on the spot there, folks listening.
It's funny in thinking about, questions that you have, questions you don't have, things like that. It was interesting. I had people that were paying every year to be able to show up on a Thursday and ask me questions, and hardly anybody ever showed up to ask questions. And I think that's most people would be like pissed off, like, why is nobody asking any questions? But sometimes people don't know what question to ask.
I agree.
So if you could ask me a question, Stu, what would be a question that you would ask me about anything?
My question would be,
why am I so handsome?
That's part of it. No. No, I think my big one would be this new Genie that you created and you are about to launch. That was
one?
All of them. When I say Genie, I mean genies plural.
Yeah, GDs.
Right. This is a group of genies, obviously, doing specific tasks, but it is the Genie concept.
Okay.
So when you came up with this Genie concept, how long ago was that?
Oh, I came up with the idea for doing it a couple of years ago. I've been trying to put this together in a way that's useful for 2 years and invested total. I'm up around $550,000 total invested in the software. Yeah, it's not insignificant. And refused to come out with anything half-assed. That was the other thing. I mean, I had something that was pretty close a year ago, and I'm like, nah, this is not a good, predictable, useful result. And a lot of times people will just kind of throw something out there because it's like hyped and stuff like that. And I'm just not going to do it, and even now. So I've been working on this for a long time, and the foundational technology I've been working on for 12 years now. So not, this isn't some, hey, I just decided I was going to do something. It's just been something that's been cooking and bumping along for
you know what you ought to do? Since this is beyond artificial intelligence, maybe you should come up with another term for it. Well, like real intelligence.
Well, we'll call it GI, Genie Intelligence.
Genie Intelligence.
Yeah, like I said, it's GI doesn't stand for gastrointestinal. It stands for Genie Intelligence.
Telling you, man.
That's a good idea. We got to come up with a cool thing.
Yes.
Don't use AI. AI is BS. Use GI.
Yeah. It's beyond AI. Kind of like
Yeah.
Beyond Meat. You know the fake meat that's out there? Beyond Meat or whatever.
Yeah.
The plant-based
Um,
protein, whatever.
this is that just eggs crap. Carl
Yeah.
asks really good questions. I'm curious of both of your thought processes when working with the Genie outputs. For example, Stu, when the output came out, what was your thought process in putting your words into Be Ready for Military.com?
You know what it did for me is it reminded me I needed to explain what the combat swimmer stroke was in the article. Because it had done that for me. Like it says here, like, the combat swimmer stroke is characterized by a strong kick, a wide stroke, high degree of body roll, right? It started explaining it to me, and I realized I probably need a paragraph in there just explaining what the combat swimmer stroke is, instead of just universally saying everybody knows what it is because it's military.com. So, I would say it triggered a thought process that enabled me to go from I'm not sure what I'm going to write about, how I'm going to answer this question, to boom, and I was flowing.
That's a great. Is that the end of your answer? Or did you lock
Yes.
up?
I did lock up, or you locked up, but yes, that was the end.
Okay, so my thought process is that, and if you think about all the things that we do, my biggest thing has always been to help people go from blank screen to something to edit as fast as possible. And so that's what the whole concept behind my original scripts, and then what became the Wizards, and now the Genies, and everything else, has been with one single objective: getting you from zero to a first draft as fast as possible. And so, Carl, the reason I was halfway answer is because I just went and got itsbeyondai.com, because I wanted to kind of own that. So while we were talking, I'm buying a domain name. It's beyondai.com. Beyondai.com was already taken. But that's always been the objective of all this stuff, is to take somebody and not force them to have to learn a framework in order to get the result that the framework can get you. So how do people do things? How did people do things before? We're talking about sales copy or even content, or think about in school, writing an essay, writing an article, writing a whatever. The teacher taught you the framework, whether you realize it or not, taught you a framework. Okay, you got a thesis statement, you've got an outline, you've got to make your argument, then you have to have a summary paragraph. And I was always fascinated with things like, what makes the perfect thesis statement? How do you create the ultimate summary statement at the end of a term paper and stuff like that? And I just got totally fascinated with that. And I realized that there were patterns. I realized this back in high school. I didn't understand how it would affect me later. I identified with the patterns. I figured out a pattern to get a B on any history exam in a blue book essay history exam in any class. I figured out with minimal study, you could get a B. Can't get an A, but you can get a B. I didn't care about the A because that took a lot of more work. But my whole point is getting you to that first draft. So then I think it was last month, I taught inside of the Jim Edwards Method Premium, which is now becoming Content Marketing Scripts Elite. My thought process of, once you have that first draft, what do you do? What do you do to make it good or great? So that can't be AI'd. That's where you kind of breathe the life into it. That's where you put the soul into it. That's where you put your personality into it. But if the first draft is really good, the breathing the life into it isn't that hard, and you can instantly spot where it needs to be made yours as opposed to just a ball of clay. So that's my mindset. Not sure if that answers your question, but that is literally how I look at it. So
do we have time? I can just show.
We have time for whatever you want to do.
I do like the wizard show.
Yeah.
Show you what I mean came up with the genie, and then I can show you my final output.
Yeah,
do you want to
absolutely.
do that? We got about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll share my screen, and we'll go. Chrome tab is here's my blog post genie.
Okay.
All right, so you can see that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, it has some avatars in here. I happen to use my special operations candidate avatar. Made a few changes. Made it a medium-sized blog post, educational, themed, as a category, and then mastering the combat swimmer stroke was something I changed for Navy special operations candidates, and I basically explained the military fitness test, in this sense. And I didn't even push this genie. You want to push this genie, Jim? See what happens?
Sure. Now, one thing I would tell you, I see your clip bin is empty. Whenever you do these things and you like the output, get in the habit of whacking that shopping cart icon, dude.
Right here.
Yeah, just make sure because that throws it in your clip bin so you don't lose it.
Okay, so this is what the genie just put out firsthand. So can you see that? Do you need me to make it bigger?
No, I made it be. I made my
Okay.
screen big. I made my screen bigger.
Okay.
As all can do, if you look in the lower right, wherever you're watching this, you probably have some arrows that you can whack that'll make that bad boy bigger. Okay. So here's what you need to know to master combat swimmer stroke. Did it come up with combat swimmer stroke, or did you give it that as a topic? Did it yank combat swimmer stroke out? Okay.
Yeah, I asked it to mastering combat swimmer stroke.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. All right.
But it defined the combat swimmer stroke for me.
And it actually, what is it? How can I keep your head
comes,
down, keep your arms close to your side, use a strong, steady kick, breathe regularly and evenly. That's pretty good. I mean, that got you to the first thing, and then you can add stuff to it. It's kind of like going to. Okay, here's a good analogy. If we have any baker, I see you locked that one.
Yeah, this was a good one.
So make sure you can lock it so it doesn't disappear, but also you add it to the clip bin. It's kind of like this. If you want to make a really cool birthday cake, sometimes you go to the bakery and you buy a pre-done sheet cake, and then you decorate it. Other times you pick out the sheet cake and they decorate it for you. But doing it from scratch with eggs and sugar and all that other stuff, and mixing up the batter from scratch and baking the thing and making the icing from sugar, that's a pain in the ass. And the kid isn't going to love you anymore because you made it from scratch. If you took a few shortcuts, as long as it's got SpongeBob on it and it gets all the kids a major sugar buzz, you fulfilled what you needed to do and you have time for other cool stuff. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
But, I did like this part too. I mean, this is just, I didn't say anything about Navy SEALs in the, up in here, by the way.
Oh, wow. So it made the decision that Navy Special Operations candidates had to do with Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, it was really cool. And then here, let me see if I can share. Can you guys see this? No. Can you see this, Jim? Can't see this yet. Okay. Never mind.
Looking for?
I'm changing. Hang on one second. I gotta change tabs, and it wouldn't let me just change it that way. So this is what the final product looked like. Whenever somebody asked me a question, I'm working on my technique for the combat side stroke. combat swimmer stroke, was wondering, should I start practicing my weak side? So that was the original question.
I got you.
And then from there, I went into the Genie, and it really helped me, just put all this together. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Give some tips, repeat, and then a lot of this is, straight out of the Genie. Mastering the technique. So this turned out to be a really good article.
You're decorating the plain sheet cake you got at the supermarket, and this kid's happy that you spelled his name right. You got the right number of candles and other stuff on there, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm doing metaphors in real time, dude.
I like it. No, that was good. It was fun. It was just as exciting as when I first started using the Wizards. So it brought a level of excitement back, and I still like the Wizards. I'm not knocking the Wizards at all. The Wizards I use the Wizards often, and but the Genie was just the next level for me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. This is interesting. This is a great question. VJ asked this. He says, I like the idea of the Genies. So how will the new enchilada fit in with your thinking? Difference from giving a fish for a day or being taught how to fish for life. So that's a great question. And what he's asking about is that we're doing a flash sale next week for my whole enchilada offer, which is all my training on copywriting, really get you inside my mind, how I think as far as writing copy for anything from emails to ads to other stuff. And it's going to be a great big deal. So the answer is this, goes back to what Carl asked. Once it spits it out, what do you do with it? And that's all happening up here. So if you want to learn the way I think, to be able to look at something, to be able to breathe life into it, to put personality into it, to take it from good to awesome, that's what you're going to learn. That's the difference between proficiency and mastery.
Yeah.
We're making it easier with the Genies and the Wizards for people to be proficient and efficient. But if you want to be a master, you are still going to have to walk the steps to, the 1,000 steps to the pagoda at the top of the hill. And so the whole enchilada is what's going to teach you how we think as far as copy and stuff goes. That's an excellent question, BJ. So if you just want to stay at the proficient level, you probably don't need it. If you want to get to the mastery level, where you're just living and breathing and thinking and it becomes automatic, then you definitely want to get it.
Yeah.
So
and showing them how to take it from the draft level to the next level is really what our next show is going to be about.
Our next
the elite show, the turning
absolutely
content into traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking that content and turning it into traffic, purposely using content to drive eyeballs to your website or your funnel or your opt-in page or your Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So yeah, that's absolutely what that show is going to be about. And it's going to be a monthly show. And again, it's only going to be for elite members inside of Content Marketing Scripts. So it's going to be really cool. All right, Stu. Well, I think that's it for us for today. We're a little shorter on days where we're teaching the Turn Content into Traffic show. So appreciate y'all. We will definitely see you next Tuesday. Are we going to... So my question is, we really didn't do we didn't really do podcast 181. So I guess podcast 181 will be next week.
Yes.
And then, so in December is when we're going to hit the magical podcast episode 182.
I know. And it's one of my favorite weeks.
So
that week after Thanksgiving.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, appreciate you joining us. And we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.